I just didn't find any connection points with those things, and started questioning things, and had friends who had other beliefs, and enjoyed learning. That's kind of a part of my life. Had some good friendships along the way that helped me, to figure out what exactly I wanted to believe in. And ultimately, it was that rules and regulations and binary systems don't really resonate with me. Enjoyed learning about other religions and meeting the Dalai Lama. And, it's been a fun path to a different type of spirituality, which to me is more. It's been more meaningful.
Would you separate the two, being spirituality and religion? Like, you were religious and now you're spiritual?
I think both can work for people. I do. I think some people just need structure, and they need tradition and stuff, and that works for them. And I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. How far back can you go and identify, I thought it was weird when I was 4, or whatever? Is there an example? Can you identify when the skeptic and the questioner in you was really present?
I mean, high school for sure, because I had 2 groups I was going to. I was going to church on Sundays, and then to Young Life on Mondays. And Young Life on Monday welcomed everyone. It's like,
right,
come as you are. Be there at 7:29.
Yep.
And be ready for some fun. And it was fun, and we had a great time. Church on Sundays was more, make sure you dress a certain way, and don't bring that person, and this person's going to get looked at strangely if they show up. And I think, again, it's very black and white, binary sense, but I don't think it's very welcoming. Religion can be a crutch, can be something that people have to make themselves feel better. And because it's set up binary, it's us and them. It's saved and unsaved. It's heaven and hell. It's enlightened and heathen. It's holy and righteous and sinner and filthy. And I think that makes a lot of people feel better about themselves. Is that, I got Jesus, and, I'm saved, and I'm going to heaven, and there's only 144,000 of us going, even though there's 7 billion people on the planet. And, I don't know how you can believe in a God who wants to condemn most of the planet, to a fiery hell. Like, what type of loving, sensitive, omnipresent, omnipotent being wants to condemn most of his beautiful creation to a fiery hell at the end of all this?
God bless you and good morning. Here's the news out of Los Angeles, California, from the Los Angeles Times. Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick dropped $28 million on a Malibu beach house. December 30th, 2019, writes Jack Fleming, staff writer. Power couple Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick just made one of the biggest splashes in Malibu, buying a beachfront villa for $28 million. Aaron Rodgers, a 2-time NFL MVP, and Danica Patrick, a former race car driver, began dating last year. The massive sale closed in November, as reported first by TMZ. It's good for the 3rd highest transaction in the coastal city this year. This one flaunts a different style with a charming tan exterior topped by clay tile set on a long, thin lot that descends to the sand. The bluff-top property has 2 separate structures, a 3-story main house and a 2-bedroom guest house garage. Considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Rodgers boasts the league's
Let's continue
highest...
on with the news, but shift gears to Antifa. This comes out of The Guardian, Virginia gun rally. Antifa activists will not mount counter-protest. Antifa activists will not mount a counter-protest at the gun rights rally at Virginia's state capitol on Monday. It's expected to and has since drawn thousands, including white supremacists and anti-government militia groups. Antifa from Richmond and Charlottesville publicly advised supporters to avoid the rally altogether, citing serious safety concerns. A journalist and activist, Molly Conger, told The Guardian activists in Charlottesville that they had agreed to encourage the supporters to stay away. There is no counter-demonstration plan for 20 January's convergence of armed militia on Virginia's capital. Conger wrote on Twitter on Saturday, conditions on Monday will not be safe. This is an outcome we cannot affect. And that's the news. Yeah, that's definitely an outcome they cannot affect. They can't affect it. Because good Americans showed up with their guns, and Antifa was, cue the crickets. They're not showing up. They're not showing up. They're not showing up at all because they're a bunch of beta males. And speaking of beta males, what in the wide, wide world of sports is wrong with Aaron Rodgers? A-Rod is a beta male. Let's do this real quick since I'm feeling froggy this morning. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Let me slip this up here so we can make a reference to what's going on with this ridiculousness. Aaron Rodgers lost the NFC Championship game. Let's go to the big board for notes here. Aaron Rodgers didn't have anything to do on Monday because he embarrassed himself on national TV in the NFC Championship game out in San Francisco, California. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but, come on, folks. You got one of the biggest non-binary social justice warriors for the cause in Aaron Rodgers and his let's all hold hands together in support of Colin Kaepernick with Linda Saussure. Now you got him partnering up with Danica Patrick appearing on her show denouncing God because he doesn't like the Bible Jesus. He doesn't like that one. That's too structured. That's too hard for Aaron Rodgers. It has rules and regulations. How in the wide, wide world of sports are you going to play a football game without rules and regulations? Yet you think your own salvation, how you conduct yourself morally, doesn't have rules and regulations? What kind of coach is that, A-Aron? A-Aron, a beta male? What a beta. And he goes on his girlfriend partner show to do it. And she digs in like, tell us when it first was that you knew you hated God. Ooh, I can barely wait to hear it. Jeepers creepers. I'm gonna go to DuckDuckGo and find out. I'm pretty sure that Miss Danica is older than A-Rod is a beta male. So Aaron, who's in his mid-30s and been single, bought a property with a woman who's older than he is. And did you take note? 2 structures on that property, 2 houses. One big one, and then a 2-bedroom guest house. 2 structures. If I were a guessing man, I would guess that he'll live in one and she'll live in the other one. And God only knows what's going on in A-Aron's, A-Rod, a beta male. What's going on in his house? I don't even give 2 hoots and shinola about Danica Patrick. What a mess. Congratulations, girls. You've done a fine job. You have another wonderful feminist representation of all of y'all out there. a female strong race car driver. Wow. Okay. I just don't get it. I mean, that whole interview with A-Rod beta male with Danica, with the man's name with a ick on the end of it. Yeah, he did works. He liked building buildings, and that was good. You know, he had done good things for lesser people. And then he liked meeting the Dalai Lama. That was great. He loved that. And then, yeah, that's a mess. It's just all a mess. It's just all a big fat mess. So on Monday, Aaron didn't have anything to do, and Antifa didn't have anything to do, and I just sat here in the box just loving God and studying the Word of God. That's all. So, until the fat lady sings, by the way, good morning, saints. Welcome, sinners. Forgot to do an introduction as I do a goodbye. But let's do a goodbye, because I'm done with this mess. Quit letting your children idolize these people, these sports stars. And before I close the show, let me just say this too. I grew up in a sports family. My father went to Drake University on a basketball scholarship and then coached basketball for most of his adult life. My mother was a basketball player who went to 2 state championships in a row. I grew up loving sports. I idolized Bart Starr when I was 5 years old in 1962. I had a green shirt with a 15 on it. Not an official team jersey. They didn't have those back then. I just had a green shirt with a 15 on the front and the back. And I wore it every single day. I idolized Bart Starr as a child. I wanted to be Bart Starr. And then you know what? I grew up. I stopped thinking like a child. Gotta be careful where you place your faith. All right, let's let the fat Nephilim sing, all right? God bless you, saints. Have a beautiful Monday. Yeah. Peace, love. Here's your Nephilim fisherman. Out.
It's the last time, who cares?